What we are hearing is that a 75-year-old woman was accidentally shot. She was hit in her right thigh, as you said. She was walking through gunfire as two different groups of people were fighting, according to police. Again, she was walking down this block where neighbors say she's lived for years, and she actually walks with a cane, and she was walking as she normally does, according to neighbors, when she happened to walk into that gunfire. And neighbors say that they heard about 6 gunshots, 6 of them. Again, she was hit once in the right thigh. As you can see, this is a very active scene. Police out here, they've been putting out crime scene tape. They pushed us further and further back from a particular apartment building that is closer to that end of the block. Right now, actually, they are trying to move this car that went into this very popular seafood restaurant here in Wakefield. As you can see, it just slammed right into the side of the car. Take a listen. You can hear all the glass. Right, those 2 suspects right behind these cars here just crouching, waiting for their target until they jumped out and shot their victim multiple times right here next to this building. And look at this dramatic video. You can see it all unfold. The victim walking by on the left corner of your screen just before 3 a.m. and moments later, the gunman attacking him, shooting him in the groin, head, and arm. You can see he just lies on the ground for a while, bleeding, twitching, trying to get up, but unable to. Neighbors say they heard him screaming for help until this man, a security guard for the construction site, walked up and called 911. And he waited with the 37-year-old victim until police arrived about 5 minutes after the shooting. They rushed him off to Lincoln Hospital, where he is now in critical condition. And neighbors, meanwhile, absolutely terrified because the building super tells me those bullets actually almost hit these windows here where families live with young children. Meanwhile, police are still on the hunt for those 2 suspects. From Mott Haven, I'm Rena Roy, News 12, The Bronx. Yeah, Roger, we're hearing that one man was shot, and it was just steps outside of our News 12 newsroom. And it happens as any breaking news happens. We hear it on the police scanner, then we go to the scene. But this time, it was just steps away from our workplace, and we actually saw the victim on the ground out here clinging to life. Emergency workers giving him CPR. He did not appear to be conscious, and we are told that he is not doing well. We actually saw him rushed off to the hospital. And as for the gunman, he's still on the loose. Police say he ran down Story Avenue after witnesses heard about 6 to 7 shots ring out one after the other. And again, that victim in critical condition. And as you can see, investigators are still out here. They're placing evidence markers all over this scene. It's a very active investigation because this man, he's still on the loose with this victim in critical condition. And one witness told me that the victim looked to be about 20 years old. We don't have any confirmation on that, but he again appeared not to be conscious. And this happened actually just steps away from the 43rd precinct and around 3 p.m., which is when students are getting out of school. And this is right in front of the James Monroe House. It's a very busy intersection here at Rosedale and Story Avenues. So it actually gathered quite a big crowd. This crime scene is a big scene, and there were about 30 to 40 people who live here just absolutely terrified watching this happen right in front of where they live. And again, this is a very active investigation. We're going to be out here gathering details to find out more, and we will bring that to you as soon as we get it. But again, one man is shot. He is in critical condition. The gunman still on the loose. This is the first time they're bringing the Good Friday celebration out here on the streets outside of the church to celebrate with the entire community. Take a look. Police say they pulled 9 dogs from this van here. You can see there is a lot of trash and multiple dirty cages. The good news is the rain is over, as you mentioned, but the bad news is all of this. We are dealing with some major flooding. You can see what I'm standing in. Almost looks like a lake. Witnesses are telling us that they saw that car come out of nowhere, speeding down Morris Park Avenue, flip over a parked car and smash directly into that fence behind me. You can still see that car there. We're told by officials that it has killed 1 person and injured 6 other people. Oh yeah, Roger, we're definitely feeling the burnout here. Take a look. This is just a tiny portion of all the people that are expected to come to St. Mary's Park here in Mott Haven. Ready, hyped up for him to come out on stage. A lot of them supporters, but some of them not so much. I have Phil and Jay here, father and son. Oh, and you can hear that the people are cheering. I don't know if you can still hear us on our mic, but father and son from City Island here in the Bronx. So Phil, I hear you're trying to convince your father to feel the burn, right? Tell me why.
As you can see, she's setting up for that live shot. Rena, tell us and describe the scene as you're on the ground right now.
All right, Magdalena, we don't have a lot of details right now. What we are hearing is that 2 cops have been shot. one in the head, possibly in serious condition. They have been transported to Lincoln Hospital, but let me show you this scene here. Absolutely terrifying. Witnesses say their 65-year-old neighbor, known as Miss Norma, was standing right here behind me and talking to her daughter when out of nowhere, a brick came falling at least 5 stories and hit her right in the head. They say she fell to the ground so hard they actually heard her hit the sidewalk. This entire community just shaken by 4 perfectly stacked shoe boxes that were right next to this tree stump. They were curious about what was inside, but nothing could prepare them for what they found. People are just flooding in and they are so pumped. And I gotta say, I'm getting in the spirit a little bit myself. Check out my very own Garth Brooks hat. Oh yeah, I came prepared. I knew exactly what I wanted, because if you're a true Bronxite, you know that this heat means one thing: City Island seafood. Take a look at this. I've got fried shrimp, lobsters, clams, fries, obviously some cold drinks because it's so hot out here. You probably never guessed that I'm just hanging out in this freezing weather on this hard seat, but let me tell you, these barriers here on this piece of art are a great way to hide out from the wind. You can see people are bundled up out here wearing scarves, hats. Well, gone are the days when I was right inside that studio, just like you guys, all warm and toasty. No, I'm just kidding. I was in there not too long ago, but being out here for just a couple of minutes feels like forever. I've been like jumping up and down. Some of the cops even taking hammers and drills out of this truck, bringing them right into the Sagamore apartments here, where dozens of investigators are trying to figure out what exactly happened to 69-year-old Patricia Myers and where the retired Bronx nurse could be. Since Tuesday night, investigators have been working around the clock after they say she disappeared about a week ago and was last seen at her second-floor apartment. And it was there where one of our police sources tell us a hound dog picked up the scent of blood in her bedroom. Meanwhile, police are searching for her 42-year-old nephew, calling him a person of interest and telling us they want to question him in this case. The super says her nephew had lived with her briefly and that he last saw him about a week ago, but since then he hasn't been around.
I'm wondering, because the guy don't look too tight in the head, you know, like all the lights on, nobody's home. He said she was in the hospital because she had bad lungs, and they checked all the hospitals, couldn't find her. So where could you be?
And again, a very active investigation. We'll be out here gathering details, and we will bring you the latest as soon as we get it. From Claremont, I'm Rena Roy, News 12, The Bronx. Jess, 61-year-old Mamadou Diallo let out of court as a lot of people cheered him on. He is now free to go back home to his family, and he is very excited to do so. The Bronx husband cheered on again by a lot of people. His family members right there by his side. It's been a roller coaster 24 hours for him, and again, he was just let out of criminal court after police say he beat 43-year-old Earl Nash to death. Now the community is speaking out on his behalf.
This guy's religious, 61 years old, doing the same job for over 15 years. He has to be in this kind of situation where he can be over here and have to deal with this. So that's really an outrage at this point, and we'd like people to know that. We're glad that people are supporting them, we're supporting him at this point, but I think the best thing would have been avoiding it.
And earlier on Tuesday, the Bronx man was arrested at the 42nd precinct and facing manslaughter charges after, again, police say he beat 43-year-old Nash to death in his Washington Avenue apartment building. This is video you first saw here on 12. You can see he is beating shirtless Nash with a tire iron. It all happened at 10 o'clock Monday night when his wife, Nenegale, called him frantically, saying a man was trying to rape her, attacking her, and tearing off her clothes. And the family spokesperson also said that Diallo, again, is just very thankful to be at home with his family. He is expected to be back in court on June 27th. Staying cool in this heat. I mean, I'm getting, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, I'm being attacked. Okay. So this is happening.